All right, so we're having a live discussion about experiences. We're talking about going to the Super Bowl. We're talking about price increases for the Detroit Lions and the NFL as a whole. The better your team is, the more it's going to cost to watch them in person. So is your house or a sports bar probably the best seat in the house or the bar, so to speak? Yeah. But then you got to look at, there's a commercial, MasterCard commercial from years and years ago. You really don't see them anymore. It starts listing all these things, and it says this, $500, this $200. Spending time with your son at a game for the first time, priceless. Although that's not entirely true. The memory, though, is priceless. So my question to you is, do you think sitting and watching the game from the house is the best seat in the house? I'm going to say it's perks to both, right? So I had a guy, a season ticket holder, and the one good thing he did for me was provide me with a way at cost to make it to the games. And without that, there's no way I could have went. So I appreciate that whole situation. And I appreciate my fans, I guess, which sounds weird to say, for helping me get to the NFC title game, in all way possible. Without you guys, I couldn't have went. But would you pay for the experience of being at a game versus being at home? So I would say that it's a tough call, right? It's very tough. You got to reason. You have to be responsible. Most of us are grown, have children, have families. We got to be able to take care of our family, and they take priority number one. However, I can see the drive and the incentive to being in the stadium. Let me tell you. I want to show y'all something. You've heard this many a times. This right here. So let me just paint my experience and why I tried so hard to get to not only the playoff games, the first ones at Ford Field, but to also get to the NFC title game. I do not ask for money. I do not do that. This one time, and I feel like a bum. I got something planned, by the way, but I was like, yo, I need to get to this game so I can represent the fan base and stuff like that, and I just didn't have the money, right? But going to the very first game at Ford Field, the whole city is fighting. Should we wear Matthew Stafford's jersey? Should we cheer for Matthew Stafford? I mean, we're at each other's throats about a guy who no longer plays for our team. We go to the game, and I'm going to be real with you. I saw one Matthew Stafford jersey, and it was a Rams jersey. I didn't see a single, they probably were there, but I didn't see one Matthew Stafford jersey in Detroit of a Detroit Lions. Did not see one. We get there. The atmosphere was insane. It was something that literally you can't even describe. And then all of a sudden, Jared Goff comes out, and we all come together with the Jared Goff chant. I was part of that. That right there, I was part of it. I got to witness the Lions winning their first playoff game since I was in middle school. I got to witness the first playoff game and a win at Ford Field. I got to witness all that stuff. I don't think that you can put a price on that, but I think realistically you have to. So would I prefer to go to the game? Absolutely. If you gave me free tickets to the NFC title game, I would drop everything I had, talk to the wife, and I would go in a heartbeat. The atmosphere there is ridiculous. It is even regular season games, but the atmosphere at the stadium, although it might be the best seat in the house, walking out. Now check this out for the Rams game. Freezing cold. It was freezing cold. I'm talking about 4 degrees. Nose hair was freezing. It was that weekend that everybody, it was a cold front going around the city, going around the United States. You had Kansas City. It was colder in Kansas City than it was in Detroit that same weekend, right? It was cold. It was cold. My hands were cold. My nose was cold. Everything was cold. But walking out of the stadium was something that you cannot ever get back. Like, I'll never feel that again, right? It's kind of like having your first child. Your first child, you're like, and then once the second, third, fourth, how many you have, it might be a little different, right? It might be a wee bit different. So for me, is there a limit that I'm willing to pay? Yes. Would I be willing to pay to go see a game over sitting at home, depending on what it is? But I tell you what, if I could get to the Super Bowl or the NFC title game and watch my team go to the Super Bowl for the first, because here's the way I look at it. This first time will never happen again. So to see the Lions' first playoff win at Ford Field was something that will never happen again. Lions might make it to multiple Super Bowls. They might become a dynasty, but what they won't ever do is make it for the first time to a Super Bowl. So I would do everything in reasonable to make it to that game, right? So I'm not going to the game. In that case, you might have a watch party. So put it in the comments below. What would you prefer? Sitting at home watching it or going to the stadium and watching it? And I got a decision to make. I could get to New Orleans. I can't go to the game, but I could get down there, right? Or I could celebrate with my people in Detroit. I remember when the Pistons won. I saw people riding around the city, hanging out of cars. Now, I wasn't one, but we went downtown. It was crazy. I know it would be there. And Ford Field would have a watch party. What would I prefer? I don't know. If I can't get in the building, it might be better for me to watch it at Ford Field. I mean, I'm going to be real because the party going to be here. The party is going to be at Ford Field. So let me know. I know everybody has a price, but if you could afford to go, what would you prefer? Watching it at home or going to the stadium? Let me know.